Welcome to this week's edition of Wolves Weekly. I'm your host, Mark Colachico, the Director of Media Relations here at Western Oregon University. I'm joined this afternoon by head women's basketball coach Holli Howard-Carpenter. Holli, it's a new year, but you're back at the grindstone.
I know, I'm not used to writing 2015 quite yet.
I think we're all going to make that mistake for the first few weeks, still write 2014.
Right.
But let's look ahead a little bit this week. You've got two big schools coming in. First off, Alaska Anchorage, nationally ranked, and then followed by Alaska Fairbanks. Let's talk a little bit about Anchorage first.
Anchorage plays fast. They're very deep, athletic, really tough team, very talented. We have to be physical. We have to be ready to play on Thursday. They're the number one offensive rebounding team in the conference. We're number 2. Fairbanks is number 3. So it's going to be a battle on the boards for both games.
And that's always fun to watch, especially when you've got somebody like Dana Gallardi and Angie Titus and Emily Howie really crashing the boards. And over the past few games, we haven't talked for a while here on Wolves Weekly.
Had a few games.
Yeah, you had quite a few games. You were in Vegas for 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
That actually came on the heels of actually a trip to Cal Baptist as well. But talk a little bit about Vegas. You guys went 2-0, great tournament. Seemed like you were pretty happy with your girls.
Yeah, we had a great week overall. I mean, it's a long week to be together that whole time, but it was really positive. We had some good team bonding, and it really showed on the floor. We were in sync. We were all on the same page. We fought. We shot the ball well, and we defended. So being on the same page helped a lot.
And then you had a milestone there. Dana Gallardi did become the 6th player in program history to score over 1,000 points, which we were able to honor her this last week when you guys played St. Martin. So I know Dana said she didn't even know about it.
She didn't.
Yeah. So it was a surprise to her. But, how did you guys really take that milestone and really showcase it?
Well, it's kind of funny because, like I said, she didn't know it. And after our game against Dixie, we had a flight back that night. So we literally didn't even have a post-game talk. We ran in, and I said, "Great win." And Dana passed her thousands, and they all started screaming. They were already getting in the showers to get on the road to make our flight. But so we didn't get a chance to really celebrate it then, but that's why we really wanted to honor her on Saturday for doing that. Not only leading us in almost every statistical category, but just really putting her heart and soul out there for the team and doing everything that's in her control, which has been really great. She's going to leave a really good mark on the program.
And you talk a little bit about honoring her prior to this last Saturday's game. Tough loss against St. Martin's. You guys returned to really the rest of the year as just GNAC opponents. So
yeah.
You guys started out, unfortunately, with a loss, but talk a little bit about that game against St. Martin's.
I feel like like I said, before break we were on the same page. That break really kind of disrupted, our flow. But it's the same position that everybody else is in, and we have to find a way to get back on track. I think coming in that we were in a really good position. We had one game, and we were home. And so, we just talked about that being a missed opportunity for us. So it was a disappointing loss. St. Martin's, they came to play. And again, we went back to bad habits of, letting go of a lead in closing out the first half. I think we were up 8 points with like two minutes, a little under 2 minutes, and then we only go in 1. So we don't have the momentum going into halftime, and then we come out and don't turn it back up. So again, it's the starts and the finishes, which is what we kind of went back to. So going back to bad habits, but really trying to turn it around. This week in practice, we've talked a lot about rebounding and defense. Our defense was very spotty against St. Martin's, and they shot the ball well, and so we just didn't get it done.
And you talk about this week of practice. We already alluded to your game on Thursday against Alaska Anchorage, who is coming in as the 11th team in the country. But let's jump ahead a little bit. Let's look at Saturday. You've got Alaska Fairbanks coming in. You'll have a day in between, which is always good.
Right.
But what are you seeing with Fairbanks?
Fairbanks is much improved from last year. They're playing really well. I think they're 11-4 overall. They're a solid team. they play hard for 40 minutes. Again, they're the third rebounding team in our conference, and they're going to make us work every single minute. And so we need to be up for the challenge. They have, a lot of returners. Jordan Wilson, one of the top players in the conference, and she just does a lot for them. They've got a great point guard. They're very balanced, deep. I think we went 10 deep on the scouting report, but they're a tough team. So we have our hands full with both games.
And then let's talk a little bit as we wrap up here. You're more than halfway through the season. Like we stated earlier, the rest of the year is just GNEC opponents, and you know all those opponents. You've seen them. You've seen them at least twice during your career, maybe 3 times. But what are you taking from the first half of the year now through the second half of the year?
Our main thing is that we have to be mentally tough. On any given night, anybody can win in this conference, and it doesn't matter if somebody's at the top of the conference or the bottom of the conference. We've already seen in the last couple of weeks that doesn't matter. And so for us, it has to be a refocus to our goals that we set at the beginning, and just because we've lost some games that we didn't want to lose or shouldn't have lost, that doesn't determine the rest of our season. And so we had a really good practice yesterday. We kind of bounced back with our voices and just getting after it. But we have to refocus and really go after our goals. It's going to be a grind. The next 2 months are going to be a grind. But for some people, this is, especially with like Dana, this is her last go. And so, they have to understand at some point that their playing time isn't, finite. It's going to end, so to take advantage of every opportunity. No more missed opportunities.
Well, Holly, we wish you good luck this weekend. And fans, as we kind of wrap up here, you can see on the screen that we've got 2 games this week. We start with Alaska Anchorage on Thursday at 5:15, and then we'll wrap up on Saturday against Alaska Fairbanks. That game is also at 5:15. Both games inside the new PE building here on campus, so be sure to come on out. Cheer on the Wolves, cheer on Coach Harpenter and her gals. We'll see you again next week, and as always, go Wolves.